Welcome to the Rollercoaster Ride of Business with Hannah Edwards on Global Voice Radio. Hannah and her guests share the real deal, the ups and downs, the highs and lows of building a business. Here is your host, Hannah Edwards.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Rollercoaster Ride of Business. I'm Hannah Edwards and I'm joined with the awesome Lacy Hodges. Thank you for joining me today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm really excited because obviously we had Kelly on last week and she was actually great. She was great fun to interview. There was so much stuff that we were talking about. I was saying I didn't do any kind of mindset or journaling or anything like that until I started talking to her. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it all like opened up and I was like, okay, now I get what I'm doing. Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, because I definitely don't know fully what I'm doing. So you're a social media marketing and content expert.
Yes.
How did you get into that?
Well, the funny thing is, I remember 2.5 years ago telling my husband, because I started as a VA, and I said, I can do whatever task, but I will not help someone market. I hate marketing. It's not my thing. And so going into the online world from, like, I had a logistics business before, so the marketing is completely different. Yeah. And it's a literally traditional pick up the phone and call someone. Logistics is. So when I got into the online world, yeah, it was like culture shock. And so you get into all these groups and you get all this information and all this stuff, and it was just so much and so overwhelming. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a step back. I know I need to learn how to market online, and I have to be able to write content that's going to convert. And so what ended up happening was I had researched and practiced and tweaked so much to the point that I literally had worked my way right into becoming an expert. And when I went to start as a coach, I did not define a niche, and I still technically don't say I have one, but my expertise is in social media marketing and content creation. But I had done a challenge on content creation, and it was really more for me to kind of tweak and practice myself. And I involved my group, and it just kind of took itself from there. And so I realized I really enjoyed doing it, and it's such a struggle for so many people online. Like, if you have an online business, and if you have a brick and mortar business, you need to be online. But especially if you have an online business, I mean, it is what will hold everybody up.
You see, content for anyone else, I can do in my virtual assistant side of stuff. It's when I've got to do it for myself. I sit there and I'm like, I have no clue what the heck I'm doing right about now.
And that seems to be common with a lot of people. And, you know, that's why teaming up with Kelly actually ended up being just a perfect combination, because it's nothing about skill set. It's all a mindset issue.
Yeah.
When there's that block of outside of what do I write about, it's a confidence and a, you know, self-esteem type thing. And so that's why that was just a no-brainer.
Yeah, see, that's the thing I find sometimes. I sit there and I'm like, now I've got it all done. I've now got to want to be able to stick it out there so people can see what I've done, because you're marketing yourself as opposed to marketing someone else's business where you're told what they want written. And I can do that side of things all day long. Like, when it comes to, right, I've got it written down. Now I've got to sit there and do this bit. I have absolutely no, I want to say enthusiasm, but it's not the right word. Obviously, confidence is it, but it's like, right, okay, so let's just put it off a little bit, and then I'll come back to it when I'm feeling that bit braver to stick it out in the public domain, because it's the internet. It goes everywhere.
Yes, and I know for me, whenever I first did it, my biggest thing were internet trolls.
Yeah. My
biggest fear was for someone to shame me in this group, and I lacked the confidence of my skill set. Yeah. And because I felt like, because I didn't take a college course in content creation or marketing, that I didn't know as much. And, you know, I had to start remembering that online business perception and appearance is the same as personal. You know, we look at other people we have on our friends list personally, and go, oh, they've got it all together. They, look at, they're always on vacation, blah, blah, blah. And we don't have a clue what really goes on behind the scenes.
No.
We don't know. They may be in a miserable marriage and they're on vacation, stay the heck away from their husband. Or their spouse could be cheating on them, and the reason they're on vacation is because that's kind of the payoff that they're getting, or, you know what I'm saying? And, or what road they took to get to where they're at. It just looks easy. And with business, it's the same way. I remember looking at others that would have quote unquote professional headshots.
Yeah.
I think they have to have it all together. And now it's funny, I've actually coached a handful, if not more, of those coaches that I thought and felt envious of because they had it all together. And no, it was just perception and appearance. And I guess you could go, it's kind of the fake it till you make it kind of persona. I mean, but we assume because they have this or that, or their group has 10,000 people in it, that they're overly successful. And you would be highly surprised of how many really still struggle with the basic foundation of their business. And
this is the thing. I mean, I said to Kelly, I'm not a coach, but I joined your guys' group when it was kind of on a whim when I found it on there's little Facebook suggestions, when you join someone's group and you like their page and another one pops up. And I was just there and I sat there like, this is the one group that all the others are designed for the industry I'm in. But this is the one where I'm actually getting the most out of it. It's the one where you've not got to watch what you're saying because someone's going to go, well, then you're obviously not good at what you do. Because everyone's like, well, actually, we're all in the same position.
Right. Exactly. And, I am really big on it. It took a long time, but online I'm just not going to filter myself anymore. Because here's the thing is that we coddle each other in society, period, and I do with my kids and I try to kind of tiptoe around. But the thing is, if you're not good at something, it doesn't mean you can't be. It just means why keep letting someone go on this track? If, let's say I look at a piece of content and they post every day. Okay, so obviously they're making the effort consistently, but I know there's no call to action there. And that's why they're not getting engagement. And they're just staying frustrated. And I'm just sitting by watching it and going, oh, great article. But it's not true. It's not that the content's not good. It's that this isn't going to work. You are literally just posting to be posting at this point because with a couple tweaks, it will change everything. Another thing I noticed is that people are in the wrong groups.
Yeah.
And
I've joined groups that, I'm not a mum, but my target market is mums. It doesn't matter what their business is. It's like coaches, PR, but it's mainly mums because my thing is, if I'm not a mum, the time that I want to be working on my business, I can be supporting them to free up their time to be with their families. And it's not just that, it's obviously I have my magazine as well. So a lot of those people in those groups are the ones I want to feature in my magazine. But if you've joined a group, so like some of them with mum in the name, and you're not a mum, they're just like, we're not even going to reply to the post that you've put up there. We're just going to completely blanket. You've introduced yourself. You've said you're not this, or this. You don't fit, so we're going to ignore you until you leave. And I was like, when I joined a group, I was like, I'm not a coach. Should I put on there that I'm not a coach, or should I just sit like on the sidelines? And then I can't remember who it was, but someone else had posted up like that they were hoping it was okay that they were there. They're not a coach. And like you and Kelly were like, well, yeah. Like it was the most obvious thing in the world that it was okay for them to be there. And I was like, this is it. This is the one.
Yeah, and with niches, I hate to be so specific because, I always tell my clients to not end up with FOMO, fear of missing out, because that's what happens when content writing happens. I said this on one of my trainings, when you're writing to everyone, you're speaking to no one. And so you do have to have some specifications as far as to be able to hit those pain points. But, service industry wise is really, product-based and service industry is where we really do cut that line.
Yeah.
And coaches, because a lot of what we teach is what we've learned from our past experiences. But me being a VA, Kelly's done direct sales. So all of it ties together. So we definitely don't close the door to certain, service-based. Now, like I always tell Kelly, any health coach that wants me to coach them is crazy because There's nothing healthy about what I do, and it's going to probably offend them. It's not that I can't help them. It's just that now, at the point in my business where I'm at, I can be picky and choosy about who I work with one-on-one. But yeah, as far as closing the door, if it's service-based, we want to help. Our mission is to help women by empowering and supporting them to show up, do the work, and take action. Because each and every one of us are capable of having these 6-figure businesses, 4 figures, 5 figures. Some people don't want 6 figures. Some people just want to be content and comfortable. And that's what you want. The first thing you have to do is consistently show up. Let people know that it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, you're still going to be here.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. Like, I've seen your trainings on the groups. I attempted to attend the one the other day, but being at work meant I had to disappear.
Dang, 9 to 5.
But there's so much better, even though obviously some of the points I have to sit and I think I'm going to adapt it because it obviously is coming from a coach to coach point of view. But the bits that are there, I just sit there and I'm like, there's virtual assistant training that I could have paid for and not got this much out of it.
Which we all have. As entrepreneurs, at some point or another, we have all either low-end paid or high-end paid for things that were like, this is not what I thought I was getting. And as a VA, myself, before I started coaching, as the coaching tips we get, you're able to assist and support other coaches because you know how the industry works at that point. And as a VA, you're not really just a task doer.
No.
You are the backbone to their business. You brainstorm with them, you become and gain this relationship that essentially their failure is your own, and you get that attached and invested into someone else's business. And by having the strategies as a VA from a coach, you are able to then also support to where if you didn't know anything about the industry or have other strategies to implement, then you really would just be doing tasks. And people need accountability and support. And as a VA, you really kind of become like a bartender therapist type. You're a little bit of everything. And so, and I try to tell my clients, just because this strategy works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. What the purpose of what I teach and what I do is to show you, here's a strategy, here's the important parts of what you need, but you need to make this your own to make it work for you. Because my timeline and how I do things, and you hear me and Kelly talk about it all the time, is not for normal people.
No.
My lack of sleep is not normal for most people.
This is the thing, like I always find that, like, obviously me, you and Kelly have got our little group chat bit from where we've been organising the recordings and everything. And I always find that when you're there and you're like, oh, it's fine, we can do it at night time, my time. And I'm like, what? I mean, it's 9:05 here at the moment. And I just sit there and I'm like, I'm trying to get into that headspace, but where my pattern for my care job is all over the place. This time at night, normally when I'm at work, I'm already looking forward to going to bed, let alone recording night in the middle of the night. Yeah,
for me, I've got my husband, and we've been together almost 20 years, but we've been married like 14 years. And then I've got the kids. And so essentially, it takes me all day to do one task, especially on the weekends, but even during the week, because the daytime is their time.
Yeah.
I like to think it's mine, but it's not. Because if they're not asking me something, I'm thinking about what I need to be getting done anyway. But it's like by 6 o'clock, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, just shut up and go to bed. And they'll all get settled. And 10 o'clock, I'll like sit and enjoy the quiet. I'm like, oh. And about 11, I'm like, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to da-da-da, and I'm going to da. And next thing I know, it's like 4 a.m. And I'm like, I'm going to force myself to go to sleep because I'm going to hate life tomorrow. And I'm not a napper because, like, I just think I'm like, who wants to waste that time during the day? But I really do well on, I always tell Kelly, 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Anything over that, I am, like, useless all day. And it's just the strangest thing. So, yeah, so, like, with the time difference or whatever, your daytime, my nighttime, like, most interviews are much better because I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, but it's crazy because some people work, some people will get up at like 5 a.m. before their kids get up or, day stuff. And I'm like, wake me up at 5 a.m. and see what happens. Like, I'm not getting anything accomplished anyway for about 3 hours.
No, I'm that kind of person. It's a 6 o'clock, obviously, in my job I have to sleep there overnight, which is when I normally catch most of your lives, because I'm actually unable to sleep properly in the house. I'm just like, I know there's a live happening, let's just hop onto that one. And then it's like 6 o'clock wake up, and I cannot function until like 8, 9 in the morning, because I need to go through that process. So I'm just like, got up anyone that's like, let's have a business meeting at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, you joking me?
Yeah, if I get up about 9, Brian takes the kids to school and stuff for me in the morning, and I get up about 9, and I start functioning like I'm ready to go about noonish, but it doesn't matter, because then it's kid pickup time and lunch and all that stuff. But yeah, about noonish, that like I might be going through motions, but mental capacity is not caught up yet. Like there's, because and I don't even eat until like 2 hours into it, because I just essentially, this might be on, but this is not. It's like, don't ask me anything. Don't. And Brian will be like, he's like, you're the worst person in the mornings. Nothing irritates me more than waking up to like a crap ton of text of people asking me to do things, and that, like my grandmother would call and I'll be like, are you kidding me? Da, 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 and then like I'll call back a couple hours, but okay, so what did you need me to do? And it's just like, so my dad, if he doesn't hear from me first, sometimes it'll be at 3 in the afternoon and he'll be like, are you awake? And I'm like, oh, I've been up for hours. Like he's scared to wake me up. He's like, Brian sends the kids in, because he's like, you won't throw things at them.
Wow, there is that. What's he going to do when they're older?
Well, the other day, my youngest one said, you tricked me. You knew she wasn't awake. So I guess Brian acted like he was going in with them to wake me up. Well, Brian left to shut the door.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
So has having your own business been what it is you've always wanted to do, or?
Yes and no. So I don't know why people think business and freedom go hand in hand, because it rarely does. I don't know many business owners that are literally lying on the beach and not working. Even if they think they're not going to, they are. Because when you're that passionate about your business, you want to work it. But the enjoyment doesn't come until after you get over that hump of frustration. And there's always going to be, if you're comfortable and if it's going well, it's because it's time to level up. It's just gotten way too easy, which I am all for a challenge. I get bored at easy. So yes, it's been everything as far as everyone I've networked with, and like there's nothing better than, luckily I don't have to talk to them, but waking up to a text that is from a client that been struggling for sometimes 2 years, and then they sign a client within like 2 or 3 days. And I mean, we have so many success stories just from coaching sessions, from intro sessions. And so, yes, it's been everything, but it's not everything I want yet. So there's so much more that I want to achieve from it. So I always feel like I'm at the startup stage, even though I'm so far past it. So yeah, it has been. But yeah, there's just so much ahead. Like I'm waiting. I know it's time for a frustration, because I know I need to. And I'm always trying to not reinvent the wheel, but reinvent the wheel.
But it's like that big, massive circle, isn't it? Like, I already know where I want my business to be in 5 years' time. Mm-hmm. My problem is the now, because I'm so impatient, and I'm like, I want to be there already, because then I can move on to the next thing and the next thing with it, like, and grow it to the point that I'm the person on the beach, not having to worry about work. Mm-hmm. That it's that
now,
bit.
See, I consider a vacation working. I mean, like Kelly's like always says, oh my gosh, I've got to make sure everything's in order and where everything's at, because we split tasks. And so there's things that like if she leaves, blogs and stuff are not getting done. I may know how, but I don't know what system she's on, so we try to make sure that we're kind of on the same page for that. And she's like, I keep thinking, if you go on vacation, and then she laughs and she's like, never mind. I'm not doing this. If you go on vacation, you're still micromanaging exactly what's going on around here. She's like, you'll have 3 programs launched, and she's like, in fact, I'm blocking you. You're not gonna be allowed in the group. I'm like, dude, I've been on vacation 2 or 3 times. You just didn't even know it.
You see, you're the type of person that's got like about 27 other profiles just in case she does actually block you, so you're in there.
Oh, well, I've got enough clients that they are more worried about me than Kelly. So all I have to do is pick up and text, go, tell Kelly I said, give me your password and I'll message her. Yeah. No, she's the type that goes on vacation and literally she'll be like, I'm on vacation, see ya, kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, I don't do well. Like, outsourcing is something I've just been like comfortable with because I'm such a control. Like, I'm like, oh, I can just do it myself. There's not enough hours in the day. I try to force enough hours in the day, but there's not.
See, I did ask her the other day if she's finally started sending stuff to your VA yet.
No. No. And I'm bad about it, and I don't know, like how you say you want, and now it's really an instant gratification thing. And like I am one of those people that impulse buy while I'm at the grocery store waiting in line. Like my husband prefers me to find lines that don't have people in them. So I can't look over and grab magazines and lip gloss and crap I don't need, tissues for the car that I'm never going to use. And I'm one of those people. And so, but I don't know why she doesn't like, she likes to outsource. When she does it, she's like, oh, that's so much better. But I think that honestly, and I ran into this problem as a VA myself, it's that when you work alone, you have this process that you don't have to tell to anybody. And I think that it comes from an insecurity of, is this a real process?
Yeah.
Like kind of thing. And then also, how do I put down into steps what I do each day? Because we just go through motions of doing it. And it's kind of like that with coaching as well, is that when we do social media marketing and things like that, it's hard to convey that if we don't know what process we go through. And I know that a lot of our clients, instead of, which is why we just did that masterclass on strategy, instead of tracking and kind of keeping up with what's going on, when it's not getting what they want, they change everything.
Yeah.
And honestly, most of the time, it's just timing. It's just adjusted a couple hours before, whatever, and it usually does its job. But instead, they don't know because there's no plan.
How has your business changed now that you've got Kelly on board?
I get less done now. We chat more than we no. So my life and business has changed since since Kelly and I decided to join forces. And it's kind of funny how it started, but she signed on as a client, and we did a hands-on coaching program, so I could coach her through how to create her own on her own. And then we realized that it was so much fun, we decided to do it again after her contract was over. And from there, I realized like we were doing the same thing. We were just posting in like 55 different areas. And I'm like, this is just crazy. Because like when I had a new program, I would still call her and vice versa. And so when we decided to join forces, it honestly was the easiest thing, which I am a firm believer of everything in your business. If it's right, it should be easy.
Yeah. And
it just seamlessly went where she has flaws or she has like struggles in tech stuff and things like that. I can pick it up rather quickly, or I can resourcefully duct tape it all together. And where I struggle with things like she doesn't mind doing a lot of client interaction via Messenger, where I'm on the go a whole more, and my patience gets a little thinner. And so that balances out well. She's overly calm and positive, and I'm like so high strung. So Kelly and I, it was the best thing ever, like as far as friendship wise and business wise. Yeah. Being able to have that accountability. And the online world gets really lonely. I mean, like I've got my family, but when you work at home, period, it just gets really lonely. Like nobody really knows or relates to what you do. No. So like I can try to talk to my husband about it, and he can listen, but he can't really feel what I'm going through. Yeah. And so, or to help brainstorm or whatever, because he'll give an idea and I'll be like, no, that's not even possible. Like that's a whole, what are you talking? And then it's just, really irritating. And so that has been the biggest success, I think, for me, is a lot of validation, to have someone else to go, hey, that's not a dumb idea, someone to kind of bounce ideas off of. Or when you're having, like, I go 210, and then down to 0. So like, I'll get 2 weeks of like, Kelly's like, whoa, what the hell's going on? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just check the PayPal. There's money in there. She's like, where are all these notifications coming from PayPal? And like, she doesn't even know she should go to sleep sometimes because everything's changed when she gets up. But then like, I have taken all my creative energy and just spouted it into whatever I'm doing. And then I feel like, well, now what? What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And those times is when my group, our email list and things like that will fall short if I were doing it alone, to where there's Kelly to be able to stand that presence, to answer those messages, things like that. And so it's really a great balance. So energy-wise, mindset-wise, leveling, and all of those things have really been the change, motivation, and drive of joining forces with Kelly. Plus, it's just really fun.
She is absolutely hilarious to talk to as well.
She is convinced. She's like, we have to go see the flamingos in Aruba, and that's just.
I was just about to say, how are you coping with the flamingo addiction?
I have seen flamingos, and we actually have a wildlife zoo here, and I've actually ate next to flamingos. So, I think I'm more like, at this point, a little worried. She may be a little disappointed. She's at this point, her expectations of these flamingos are so extreme that I don't know if they can really satisfy her. And, when you give something such a standard. I also am not big on big wild birds. And so I'm just like, yeah, they can attack us. So, but I know that her happiness is exactly what I want and vice versa. And so if it makes her happy to go see flamingos, and if I have to kick a flamingo's ass because they disappoint her, I am going to Aruba to see flamingos. And I would not have it any other way. And by God, she better be happy. I'm making her go to Disney Paris with me next.
I've been to Disney Paris. It's awesome.
Is it? It's on my bucket list. We've been here in the States, but I'm like, I want to go to Paris anyway. And so, to her, it's like, I always feel like she's like on these exotic trips. She's like, oh, I'm going to Italy for a couple weeks, or I'm going to Spain to see my mom. I'm like, oh. But really, it's just like if I'm going to California. It's really not that big of a deal. It's just like a plane right away.
So for me, I'd be well excited. If you were like, yeah, I'm going to California, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, see, and that's how I feel when she's like, oh, well, I'm going to be in Spain for a couple. I'm like, oh, is that fair? Like, I go and check the account. How's she going to Spain? Oh, so, but no, she, we're trying to determine if we're going to go alone or if we're going to do a business retreat there. I know we want to do a business retreat, but what if she's disappointed about the flamingos, and she can't be depressed if we take a whole tribe with us that we're supposed to be like upbeat. Huh?
All the more reason to take the tribe.
Yeah, maybe she'll just have to fake it through. And plus, if she gets attacked by a flamingo, I need some witnesses.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm going to laugh. I mean, I'm going to help her after I'm done laughing, but I don't know if you've seen the video I posted of the Flamingo Island on my page. I tagged her in it, and it's a video of people they took, and these flamingos are just walking through because they own this place. And me and Justina were like, oh, heck no. That freaking verse, no, me and the flamingos will become one. They're going to love me as much as I love them. I'm like,
I don't think it works like that.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay, Kelly. Well, I'll be there for entertainment purposes. I don't run. I'm not big on running, so I always tell her, if you see me running, you better just run too, because that means something's chasing us.
Nice.
So, no, it'll be a lot of fun, and it's really, I think it'll be much, much needed by the end of the year.
Yeah. Because you sound like you're going to have a lot more to look forward to in your group and in your business.
Yes. Right now we are on, another great thing about partnering up is that, so she's focused on funnels and web traffic and Facebook ads, and I'm like, needs it. And it's funny, she's so not tech savvy. Or she says she's not. I think she does it just so I'll take that load on. I'm really convinced that she's not as tech challenged as she says. But And so, in fact, she messaged me this morning about SEO and da-da-da, and I said, okay, I'm going to pretend like I know what you're talking about, but I don't. So you do you, and don't ask for my advice. But the great thing is that can get done, which is something that needs done, and I can still focus on booking our discovery calls and getting our one-on-ones filled. To where if we were working individually, that would take so much time that she wouldn't be able to focus on this. And if I were doing this, I couldn't focus on that. And so that's where it partners up and balances up. But yeah, we have major goals for the year. And so, Kelly's still working her 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So once for our 6 months.
A few chats about the 9 to 5.
Yeah. And so one of our 6 month goals is for her to be comfortable where she's at, mindset wise and financially, and in our business, that she feels like she can lead, because there's always that fear of jumping out of your 9 to 5, because now you don't have that stability or that safety net. And I did the same thing for years until just this past August, I got a phone call and they said, by the way, today's your last day. And I said, Kelly, guess what? That really miserable job, which was kind of silly. It wasn't that miserable now that I look at it. But that miserable job, it's not there anymore. So guess what? No more hearing me bitch about that. So, yeah.
It is a struggle, though, when you're doing the 9 till 5, especially because obviously I know she's in the same sort of industry as I am. So those 9 till 5s are not 9 till 5s. And you sit there and you're like, I've got to be here doing this, but there's so much that I want to do on the business. And I don't have to carry a notebook around with me, otherwise I completely forget what I've planned that I want to do on my business by the time I get home and I actually have the time to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is though, working from home is not as easy as it sounds. And I think we'd actually talked about this on the live with you, is that you actually, at least you have to get up and you have to go. And technically, a 9 to 5, start, stop, when you're working on your business at 9 to 5, it's the same as that happens at home. Like, that's why I get so much done at night, because I don't have to answer messages and I don't have any of that going on, and I don't have to, my brain can shut off life and I can just focus on this. And so, but at least you're having to get up, or you could sleep all day, which happens to me a couple of times. I'll be like, oh my gosh, it's noon. How'd this happen? And there's no one to tell you have to do anything.
Yeah.
And that's why accountability is so important. So having an account, like a coach, is really just a good accountability partner. And so sometimes you may not need them to level up your strategy, but having someone to go, hey, did you get this done? Or, hey, how is that going? Is really where the benefit comes in financially, freedom-wise, and just overall success.
So within the next, we'll say 3 months, because I know before when I was saying this is my 5-year goal, you were like, what the heck?
I don't know, 5 hours from now.
What's the one thing you want your business to have achieved within, like, we'll say 3 months, but...
In 90 days, and I do very well on 90-day goals. In 90 days, I want to fly to celebrate with Kelly for leaving her 9 to 5. I want to have a huge following. And my way out there 90-day dream would be to be competing pretty close to Kardashian-style internet famous. But we'll just put that as the 5-year dream, since I'm not really big on 5 years. So we'll just put that as the 5-year dream. But no, to help as many women as we can through privately DIY group programs, any type of program, support-wise, paid and free, to have our following grow, and like I said, to be able to celebrate with Kelly to leave her 9 to 5, and she has that security and confidence in doing so. So that is what my goal is financially. It fluctuates depending on how much I spend today.
I like it.
Yeah.
I have some good goals to have.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're really just because I think in the end we have what we want and need life-wise. I'm overly grateful for Kelly, and I'm grateful for my kids, and I'm grateful for my family and everything else. And, so I could want so much more that way, but honestly, her happy, everybody happy here and us just being like, what are we doing next? I think is really what my goal is.
Sounds good. And you've got some fantastic people in the group.
Yes.
It's nice. It's one of the things I like being a part of it, is obviously like you can see them all flourishing since they've been working with you guys, and like they're bouncing the ideas off of everyone.
Yeah, and and some are paid clients and some are not. And we also get a lot of messages or emails from people that we don't see show up posting or commenting, but yet they have got results from this or that. And so I'd actually asked a question, because we got a couple new clients on some DIY stuff that I had to look in the group, because that's really our main stream of training, and realized that they've been in there for months, and we didn't even know. So I'd asked a question in the group of how many people had hired coaches or purchased based off of not really connecting with them.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had, which was a little surprising to me. But I think what happens, and I try to keep it so down to earth and authentic, is that, and my kids watch YouTube videos on games and things, and my husband does. And I've been in the position as well, where I still kind of am, that you see the host kind of that in a celebrity figure light, and it's kind of like, oh, I can't message them, or, they're so busy, they're not going to talk to, it's kind of like that kind of thing. And it happens with YouTube, people that get really big, and because you see them on the other side of a screen, and it's always been before technology. If they were on TV, they were a movie star. Definitely. And, and so it'd be so weird. I mean, honestly, if I walked down the street and seen one of the hosts from a group, it would be like, oh my God, because you forget sometimes they're a real person. So what we really, really try to do, and I think by going live every Friday, it helps and stuff, is to show that we are just as dysfunctional and just as happy and just as miserable and just as frustrated and goofy and silly and not put together as everyone else in the world. And that's
what makes it work so well.
Right. And that, even though picture-wise and at first I don't come off very approachable, we are so overly approachable. Like, no, Kelly, everybody always goes to her. Like, I even have people go, hey, can you message Lacey and ask her? And I'm like, no, that's me. But I'm just very out there and very fun. But, so I think that is a really big focus. I don't want anyone to feel inferior to me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not what it's about. I mean, I want everyone to be as comfortable as if everyone flew to my house, they wouldn't feel like they needed a hotel because, we're just staying at Lacey's. That kind of, instead of going, oh my gosh, tomorrow there's an appearance by, and it's just, that's so silly. And so, that is what our main goal for the group is. And we try to stay just very down to earth. And by we don't focus on the massive growth.
Yeah.
Because you cannot accommodate all of those people. So.
I like the group, how it is with the smaller, who's interacting, who's in there, who you can approach on different bits and pieces. I'm not going to lie, I did approach Kelly first when it came to getting you guys on the show.
It happened all the time.
But that was more because we were both online at the same time, because obviously we're in the same time zone, and I was like, I don't know whether I'm going to be waking Lacey by sending her a message.
Now you know that ain't happening.
I was just like, if I message Kelly, then at least she'll be like, yeah, sure, Lacey's driving at the moment or whatever, but send her a message. And I was just like, I didn't really want to disturb her, because obviously I know you've got the kids and
and a lot of people feel that way. And it's funny is that everyone always approaches Kelly first, and then Kelly's gonna kill me, but I always end up being their favorite. So once Kelly breaks the ice for him, go, look, she won't eat you. She might bite, she might snap, but she's not going to eat you, and you'll be fine. And so once they come over that barrier, then they're like, next thing you know, it's like, oh my gosh, Lacey's my favorite. I'm like, yeah.
See, now I can't wait to have you both on at the same time so that we can approach.
Oh yeah, we always have so much fun with those. But my relationship with her is a lot like with my husband's. Yeah. Sometimes we get tunnel vision and forget others are around, because we don't need anybody but each other. But the more and more we spend time together and the more we message, the more it's like we're the same person.
Yeah.
We do the same crazy things. And so, yeah, it's like one of the best parts of my business. Like paid, free, volunteer, nonprofit, wouldn't care. As long as I was doing it with her.
Yeah.
I would go back and take a 9 to 5 so I could do coaching with her every single day for the rest of my life. I divorced my husband just, if I had to choose, he'd be in trouble. Except for she don't make enough money to support me. So there's a little bit of a problem.
She needs to start bringing in some more already.
Yeah, she's going to get a second job if I have to choose between her and Brian. Because I'm going to spend that alimony before he gets here. And child support, well, I can't spend as much time with her if I take care of the kids alone. So he's going to have to take them. And yeah, no. But no, she is actually the best part.
She is very cool, and she's very cool to bounce ideas off of as well. I've thrown a couple of ideas at her, and she's gone, well, actually, if we do it this way, and it's been quite an eye opener having someone else in the same sort of lines as you, like doing 9 to 5, wanting to leave to do the business as full time and stuff. Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze.
And and it's so possible, and it will happen. Oh, bless you.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's just action. And the thing is that one excuse I hate to hear all the time, I don't have time. That, like, seriously, if I wake up to one of those messages, I just put my phone down. And here's the thing is that we all have the same amount of time.
Yeah.
How we utilize it is really, really what's important. So, like, I talk about all the time, I respond to Facebook messages in the bathroom. I mean, if sometimes that's the only time I get any quiet time, honestly. But no, they just stand at the door asking me questions. I have carpool that I pick up all the kids each day. It's like a 2-hour thing. I do it at stoplights. I get there like 15 minutes early and map out programs. I do, you guys have seen mini streams from me in the car. So I make the time. It's not that I don't have time. It's just that what's important to me is the growth of my business and my success. And if I have to sacrifice me time and self-care, which Kelly would be like, are you nuts? Then I do. But I'm not big on organize over, like, I'm all about the prioritize over organize. Maybe a hot mess, but my family first, my business next, and then me. And I'm okay with that.
That sounds really cool. So I'm going to finish it here.
Okay.
Thank you for joining me.
Yes.
You guys
thank you for having me.
Lacy on Facebook in the Coaches Hangout group, which I recommend everyone join, to be honest with you, because I've had great fun on it. And
your success.
It's been great being in it. Like, it's one of those things where you just sit there and you're like, I don't know why I wasn't a member of it right from the beginning.
Yep.
And you can find me on Facebook on my Facebook page, either at Empowered VA or at Empowered Magazine. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Join Hannah Edwards and the Rollercoaster Ride of Business every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Global Voice Radio, where your voice is heard.